sir,
you,
yes,
you,
sir, yes,
you,
sir.
you, you.
All right, so today we're actually going to get into Marcus Smart and his comments on his Celtics teammates there. Philip, go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyreek. So as we all know, the Boston Celtics are struggling this year. They're 2-6, and last night they lost to the Bulls at home after blowing a 19-point lead. They were up 17 going into that fourth quarter and were outscored 39-11 in the fourth. And DeMar DeRozan had an absolutely amazing game. Credit to the Bulls. But the story here is what Marcus Smart said after the game, and I quote, "I can only do so much just standing in the corner. Everybody's scouting report is make Jayson and Jaylen try to pass the ball. They don't want to pass the ball, and that's something they're going to learn." So, John, I want to
Yikes.
get your thoughts on this. Do you think Marcus Smart was right?
Thank you, Philip. I I don't think he was right on his execution, but what he did say, I do think it is correct. I do believe that they are focusing on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum too much on offense. It actually reminds me of back in the day Raptors offense with Kyle Lowry and DeMar. We used to do a lot of isolation plays, and that really screwed us over in the playoffs, especially because all the teams had to do was guard Lowry and DeMar, and that's going the same thing with the Celtics. So I don't agree with the execution because I think this is an issue that you got to deal with in the locker room rather than in public, because this is going to put a bad rep on your team, and it's going to affect the team chemistry because you are going to play next game with them. They're going to feel some type of way from your comments.
Yeah,
So yeah, I believe a bad move on execution, but he was right on what he said. Back to you, Philip.
appreciate it, John. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with you. Like you said, his execution was poor. That's not something you should share to the media like that. If you know, if you have if you're displeased with something, that's something you talk to the coach about, talk to your teammates about. Um, eh, you know what he said, like it's right. It is right. Every team just game plans for Jaylen and Jayson. They do a lot of ISO ball. Um, but the thing is here, they can do so many. They have a solid squad, not the best squad they had in the past few years, but they have like they should be taking notes from like the Knicks, for example. Like they got a star in Julius Randle, right? But they don't. It's not all about Julius. They get everyone involved. They move the ball. They mix it up. They do put Julius in ISOs, but they mix it up and pass the ball. And we all know ball movement wins you games in this league. So, he is right. But again, like this looks bad for chemistry, and we all know Boston has had issues with
Tough
chemistry in the
chemistry.
past, like in
Yeah.
multiple years, every single
Mhm.
locker room it seems like. So, hopefully,
Yep.
new coach Ime Udoka can sort this out. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this?
Um, you guys touched on all of it. Like Philip said, passing, playing as a team is crucial in this league. Look at the Raptors 2019 when we won the championship. Yes, Kawhi is our superstar. Yes, Kawhi can score the basketball. Did Kawhi shoot 30 shots a game? 25 plus a game? No, right? Our team was very deep. We passed the ball, got everyone involved. That's why our team was very hard to stop. And in this case, it just seems like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were shooting, they're literally shooting almost 50% of all of Celtics shots. 50% of possessions are shot by Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And yes, we all agree with Marcus Smart, but the field goal percentages of all the other starters, they're not looking too good themselves either.
Hmm.
Dennis Schroeder shooting 36%, Marcus Smart shooting 29. You know what I mean? Like if you're shooting 12 shots a game and you're hitting 8, yes, that could be pleasable, but then again, it's a team sport at the end of the day, right? You're not going to rely on two guys to score the basketball every possession, right?
Exactly.
That's how teams stop guys or stop a whole team from winning games, which is what the Chicago Bulls did. They stopped them from scoring because the other guys weren't, I guess they weren't used to scoring the basketball, or they weren't scoring. or they were just cold because they weren't taking a lot of shots that game. Taking 10 shots in a 48-minute game, that's not a lot, right? So just the fact that they're not shooting the ball is just, it just shows that it's a team effort here, and obviously they could have dealt with it off of social media. He didn't have to. Marcus Smart did not have to address the media with this conflict, but yeah, we obviously see what Marcus Smart is saying, but they could pass the ball a little bit more. They only averaged 2.5 and 3.7 assists too. It's not a whole lot, right? So we obviously agree
Yeah.
with Marcus Smart in this case.
Yeah. I think definitely, like you guys touched on, he's not wrong. I think the type of offense they have going on, they're not using, Jaylen Brown and Tatum to their best abilities, you know. But at the same time, like Nick said, it's like the whole team is struggling, right? Like Marcus Smart is struggling, Schroeder's struggling, and when you lose offensive firepower, like they lost Kyrie obviously in past years, now they lost Kemba. It's obviously, they're expected to take on more of that offensive responsibility on that side. So with that being said, you can understand, the point of view of maybe the coach and of Tatum and Brown, because they're known scorers. They can get the ball in the basket and they can do what they need to do, but it's not going to translate to win. So possibly they might need to shake things up in the locker room, maybe work on some new things, or possibly even make some moves to get some more firepower on their team.
Yeah. So I mean, actually, I stand by Marcus Smart. Obviously his comments, it's the media. It's gonna be taken out of context, no matter what you say. Um, but it's built up frustration. Who doesn't want to voice their opinions? I'm pretty sure, him being a professional, he's probably addressed it so many times before. He just, he had to say it. Essentially, the first 6 games for Jayson Tatum, this isolation ball he had going on, it did not work for him. He just started picking it up, and for him to just completely play hero ball, towards the end of the game is, I get it. You are a scorer, you are an isolation scorer. That's how you play. But when you're not on, just like you got to pass. You got to pass. And if you actually watch the game, a lot of guys are open in the corner. It was open. And it's another point to Marcus Smart is that his role as a defender on the team, right? That lack of offense, it transferred over to defense. They didn't grab a single defensive rebound in the whole quarter, and you pair that with not being able to touch the ball, just sitting in this corner watching your teammate miss, and just doing it over and over and over again. A couple of times is cool, but over and over and over again, the whole quarter is it's not good. And you have the Bulls, my Bulls, they scored they won 81% that quarter. So you have to put yourself in his shoes. First of all, you're a grown man. This is your job, and you're watching your friend just or your teammate try to take over the game, and you're sitting in the corner watching him while getting dumped on and not playing no defense. I stand by what he said and what he did, the way he did it. I believe
Oh,
that
you think he executed it well?
I think he did. I think it was taken out of context. Like that. They're gonna learn. I don't think that was like a threat or anything like that. I think he really meant that like they're actually gonna learn to like, handle those situations. Yeah, I stand by it 100%.
I see that. I see
And
that.
I kind of want to touch on the team. Just looking at the team, they're a very, very young team. This team's kind of reminding me of a KD, Westbrook, and Harden type OKC team. A very young team that still didn't know their role. You know what I mean? They have to go through those ups and downs. They have to go through those struggles to actually find what they need, and they need to develop as a player, right? So you can see so sooner or later, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, we know they're superstars. We know they could score the ball. But what's going to take them to the next level is going to be their playmaking, and they're going to see that very, very, very soon, right? Look at KD, Harden. They all knew how to score the basketball. And once they got 3, 4, 5 years in the league, they started playmaking, which made them a deadly player, right?
Okay.
And I feel like that's obviously they're still learning. But Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, once they start passing the ball, once they start getting their team involved, the Boston Celtics are going to look scary in the East, right?
Sure.
So just hopefully hopefully this is just a wake-up call for them, and that they just start getting team involved, and then they start listening. And they have a good coach, Brad Stevens. Is it,
Yeah,
right?
they have a really
Well,
good.
no,
You
it's
didn't
not.
win
It's
Coach
not.
of
It's
the
not
Year.
Brad Stevens anymore. It's
Oh, it's not?
Ime Udoka.
Okay.
Oh.
Brad Stevens is the
Ooh.
front office now.
Okay. So yeah, so Jayson Tatum, Jim, if they just start passing the ball and they start being that playmaker scorer like KD and Harden, right, and Westbrook, I feel like that's what's gonna take this Boston Celtics team to the next level and be a contender in this league.
I also want to make a quick comparison. They remind me of like last year's Chicago Bulls when they have Levine and Vucevic. They were not good. The reason why they're good now is because they got two players who can create for others, DeMar and Lonzo.
Mhm.
Like Zach Levine, that's not his game. Okay, so we're gonna go out and get you some guys who do what you're
What
you're
he's
weak
lacking.
at. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like that's why the Bulls are playing so well. It's because now they have those two ball creators. So again,
Yeah.
like you said, it's just that's what they need to do to take the next step in their
Yeah.
careers.
They're definitely probably one of the best, young duos or just duos straight up in the league. And I think eventually it has to come to the point that they have to be in the right roster at the right time. Definitely they have a lot of learning to go because they're still very young. But I agree. They need better pieces around them that kind of suit their game. Like Robert Williams, I think is definitely a great piece and can evolve into that with them. He's a very good player. But you need guys to move the ball around for you, and help out on the other side of the floor as well. I mean, Marcus Smart obviously does that very well, but if you can get a couple more guys going, I think this team will begin to definitely make some noise in the East for sure.
Mhm.
For sure.
Does anyone else have anything to
Actually, I have a pretty I have a red question. How would you think Boston would acquire these pieces? What players do you think they'd receive or give up? You know what I mean?
Good
'Cause
point.
they're pretty invested in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
I feel like
Oh,
as they
I feel like
should.
their team is good right now. It's just a matter of them learning to play together.
that's essentially like what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. Marcus Smart again. His comments, they're gonna learn. Not fed at all. He really
You-
means
like
they're
you know
actually gonna
what the
learn.
weird thing is? Marcus Smart's been with those two though for a
Exactly.
couple years now. So
Exactly.
it's kind
Yeah.
of
yeah.
it's kind of surprising that he came out with those comments very early in this season rather than
Yeah.
saying it last year, the year before, right? So but obviously chemistry comes into play. Robert Williams, Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder's like a scoring guard, right? He's not known to pass the ball
Exactly.
like that, right?
Mhm.
And with all of them trying to score the ball, it kind of like hurts themselves because they don't pass the ball, right?
Yeah.
But obviously they could trade. Obviously, maybe you could trade Dennis. Maybe get someone that less of value, but that could pass the ball, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was
Because look
thinking that as
look
well.
look at Denver. Well, what's their guard's name from Europe or from
Compazzo.
Compazzo? Holy, that guy can pass the ball, right?
Hmm.
He's very good for their team, right? So if they could get a guy like that, a low-key guy like that, to help them facilitate, I think that would be pretty good for their team.
Makes sense. Yeah. Sure. Oh, is that everything, guys?
Yep.
Yes,
Think
sir.
so.
All right. Well, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend,
Sir,
and
phone a
yeah,
friend, phone a
we are
friend.
the boys over at 5 Out. We'll catch y'all later.
Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.